Okay, here's a diagram, a picture of one of the Toyotas. This is real similar to the cars that we have. A lot of our cars from behind the wheel are Toyotas. Here you've got the oil dipstick here. Again, you can just pull that out, wipe it off, and check to see where the oil is at. You want to be on level ground. Here's the coolant. You can check the coolant to here. Usually you don't want to do that while it's hot. A lot of times you'll have a reservoir that you can fill separately from the radiator and fill antifreeze in there if it's low. Here's your windshield washer fluid here. This time of year when you've got a lot of slop, when it's getting hot and cold and you got a lot of salt, you'll get all that nasty stuff on the window and you can't see well, so you want to make sure that that's full in the wintertime along with your oil. Here's your filler for the oil. A lot of times this cap will tell you what kind of oil you should use in your engine. So when you go to buy oil, if you're low, you want to make sure that you either check the manual or check the oil filler cap, and it'll tell you what kind of oil to put in there. And then of course here's your brake fluid way up by the firewall, right in front of the driver. There again is a Toyota there. The dipstick is up front on the engine. Okay. Here, if you can see it, on the dipstick here, it has a marking where it says add oil. So if you're below this mark, you want to add oil. If the oil range is within here, between these two marks there, it says safe. So then you know that you can get by for a little while. But if it's below the safe mark, if it says add, then you have to usually add oil. Be careful, like they said, that you don't want to overfill the oil. Who here has changed oil before in the car? Maybe the family car? Okay. Let's see here. Good thing that you should do always when you're going to use a car is check underneath the car up front to make sure that there's no oil leaks, that there's no antifreeze leaks, because you don't want to take off if you're low on oil or gas. So in your lessons there, they tell you about approaching the car from the front, and you're going to check the tires, but you also want to check for any fluid levels. Antifreeze is real important this time of year. Not only does it keep the car cool, but it also helps keep you hot. If you don't have plenty of antifreeze in your car, you're going to be driving down the road really cold, and your heat index on your car is going to be way up. Every car, they want you to use a different type of oil in there. There's some oils that are just designed for cold weather. There's some that are designed for hotter temperatures. And your owner's manual will tell you what type of oil and what grade to use. Usually the consistency of the oils are the difference between like honey and maple syrup. So there are different viscosities, and you know, depending on the engine, you need a little bit thicker, you need a little bit thinner sometimes. But those are all marked, and you'll see these designations in your manual. Like I said, on a lot of those oil filler caps on the car, they'll have an oil that they'll recommend, you know, like 5W20. Antifreeze, you want to be real discerning when it comes to adding antifreeze to your car. Some are extended life, some are concentrated. Did anybody know what concentrated means? Concentrated, like concentrated orange juice that you have, it comes out in a big clump here. Well, it's real thick, it's real strong, and you have to add water, right?
Yeah.
In this case, with the concentrated, Those are real thick. You have to add water to thin it out to get the right consistency. Some of them are already pre-mixed, pre-diluted, so you can pour those directly right in your car and they're already set to go. But you want to look at your owner's manual, you want to know what kind of antifreeze you're supposed to put in, and you want to look at the container and be sure to read the back to make sure that the antifreeze is set up to work. You don't always add water, sometimes you do. So be sure to read the labels on your antifreeze and your coolant. Same with windshield washer fluid. Some of those are rated for really, really cold temperatures. You know, like today it's cold. Next month you probably get down way below zero. And you want to make sure that your antifreeze doesn't freeze up on your windshield. So, I'm sorry, did I say antifreeze? I meant windshield washer fluid. You want to make sure that doesn't freeze. You know, you get a lot of road salt thrown up on your window, and it's important that doesn't freeze up because it'll make it real hard to clean off your window. Some windshield washer fluids are made to degrease your window. Like I said, that road salt and all that spray gets up there, and it just regular water won't clean it. And you need something really strong that'll kind of strip off that kind of oil from the salt on your windows. So again, you want to look at the label, but this time of year, make sure that your windshield washer fluid is rated for real low temperatures, and it'll be labeled right on the front. Transmission fluids. You don't use the same transmission fluid, the same type in every vehicle. Make sure that the transmission fluid that you use is designed for your car. And there's lots of different types of automatic transmission fluid, and those are all marked. They'll tell you what. One down here says Honda. You know, you can turn around and look on the back, and it'll tell you what vehicles it'll work for. You don't want to put the wrong stuff in. Power steering fluid. Those are different. They're different per car you're using. So read the instructions. If they don't say specifically for your vehicle, you know, look at your owner's manual. If you're buying them from one of these automotive stores, ask those guys, will this work in my car? I've got a Chevy, I got a Ford, you know, I've got a 6-cylinder, I got a 4-cylinder. Brake fluid, again, make sure that that is consistent for the vehicle that you need. And how many people buy blinker fluid? You buy blinker fluid? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you know how much you use when you use it?
It's like 8 gallons.
How much?
It's like 8 gallons, like to lubricate my exhaust bearings.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good joke. There's, of course, there's no blinker fluid.
I don't know what it is.
Okay, it's important to check your bulbs. Anybody know that when you drive down the road, if your license plate light isn't lit, the police can pull you over just for that and give you a ticket if your license plate is not illuminated. Yeah, so that's one of those things you want to check. Of course, you don't want to be driving down the road and your headlights aren't working. Even if one's working, that's real dangerous, you know, especially if it's not the driver's side. People are going to think you're farther over to the side of the road. So you'll make sure your headlights are working. You need them on real dark nights like now. Make sure your turn signals are working. A lot of times if you have an issue with like one bulb in your turn signals, when you flip the switch for like maybe a left-hand turn, what you'll hear is you'll hear the pace that the turn signal is going, it'll speed up, and that's an indication that that bulb might be burnt out. So you can check it. A lot of times what you can do when you pull up to your garage in your driveway is turn on your headlights, turn on your high beams, and see if they reflect off like your garage door. Put on your left turn signal, put on your right turn signal, and see if you see that reflection on your door. You can do that for your brake lights too. You can just pull out and back into the driveway, try tapping your brakes and see if your brake lights work, if you see them in your rearview mirror on the garage door. Turn signals again, backup lights, you can see if all those things work. Let's see here. Anybody know the difference between using your headlights and your daytime running lights? Daytime running lights, you just have like a headlight on, you don't have the tail light on. If you put it on headlights, and that's the best way to drive, to be more visible. When we go out behind the wheel, we always have our headlights on so that we're more visible. And you're more visible to people, people see you sooner, and it'll help keep you safe. Wipers, a lot of times, every time you change oil, you should think about checking your wipers to see what kind of condition they are. Generally, you want to check for cracks and peels. If you've had like a whole summer that the car's been sitting out in the sun, that'll dry out the rubber and the plastic, and then when you try to use them, you'll smear the water and you won't get it wiped away from the windshield. So every oil change, take a look, inspect your wipers to see what kind of condition they are. They say that you should replace them maybe twice a year. Believe me, if you got a real downpour and you're on an interstate, going 65 miles an hour, and you got cars all around you and you can't see real clear, you want good wipers. Let's talk about tire safety.